All right, everybody, well, welcome to Poetry Out Loud. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Miss Willette Saigan, or Miss OC. I am an English teacher here at Concord High School. This year is exciting because it is the 20th year of Poetry Out Loud in the United States. And it is the 18th time that Concord High School has participated. We missed the first year, we were late to the party, and then in 2021, for obvious reasons, we decided to take a break, but we're back. We have sent 2 students to Washington, D.C. as state champions. Well, one of them didn't get to go because it was 2020, but she won for the state. And so maybe this year, there'll be somebody else who gets to head off there. So I'm just here to introduce Mix B, who will be our MC today. So we are fortunate to welcome them here today as our MC. Ben has been a part of the CHS department teaching poetry and other classes for a bit recently. Ben is also a writer and a speaker. Recently, they've shared a series of talks and podcasts in New Hampshire in which they discussed poetry and how it resonated both historically and personally to the Black experience. In addition to teaching and writing, Ben is an activist who co-founded and directs New Hampshire Panthers, whose mission is to help end racism and systemic biases through community engagement, direct mutual aid, education, and curriculum reform, and youth empowerment programming as well. They are currently working alongside the New Hampshire Charitable Fund, advising racial justice initiatives. So please give a warm welcome to Mix B.
Well, thanks so much, Concord, for the warm welcome. Thank you, Ms. OC, for the great introduction. Well, guys, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Mix B. I'm here to be your MC for this morning. Also, to just give a brief overview of the program. For those of you who don't know, I teach poetry. Poetry is really close to my heart. I've really been an admirer of the art, an admirer of all the poets, and I'm a super big fan of all of the competitors who are about to get up here today. So anyway, Poetry Out Loud lifts poetry off the page. It really does, and it creates community and connection through this program. High school students across the country compete in dynamic poetry recitation. This competition is designed to improve their public speaking skills, to help build confidence and teach them about literary history and contemporary life. We are with a partnership and lucky to help from the National Endowment of Arts, Poetry Foundation, and state and jurisdictional arts agencies. Poetry Out Loud provides free lesson plans. It also helps with other educational material for teachers and organizers, including an online anthology of over 12,000 poems for all of the students and for classic and contemporary poets and lovers alike. So, the program starts at the local level like this with local competitions at the high school, and then it goes on to regional, and then eventually to nationals. Awards and placements are determined solely by the judges and scored by Poetry Out Loud criteria. This Poetry Out Loud competition, it takes place in all 48 states. All 50 states, rather. The American Samoas, the District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, all over the country, really. And since the program began in 2005, more than 4.4 million students and over 12,000 teachers, 81,000 teachers, and 20,000 schools have participated in Poetry Out Loud. You guys are getting ready to step into an excellent tradition and legacy of poetry competition. Are you guys excited? Wow. Good luck to all our competitors, and please help me welcome our judges. For judges, we have Jim Weber, who's going to join us from Concord TV. He brings us his experience in directing and theater education. We have Tim Herbert, our principal, and some current English teachers. Give a hand for Nick Ellis, Bill Privis, and coming back, Diane Watson. In addition to the judges, seated here in our front row are some prompters. This will be our lovely Heidi Crumrine and Liz O'Neill. CHS librarian Crystal O'Brien is tallying scores in an undisclosed location. We have some student runners, Evan Newton and Colin Savard. In between performers and competitors, there will be music by our student musicians. You'll be enjoying music by Liz McCormick, Mark Pennington, and Cam Priest. Before I get our competitors up here, I have to give thanks to our sponsors, the Common Man Restaurant, Gibson Bookstores, Red River Theaters, and all those who've generously donated their prizes. Well, I'm going to introduce our first student to calibrate the rounds, and when after that, it will be time for the competition. So, for our first student, please give a warm hand for Annabelle Bellinger as she reads When You're Old.
When You Are Old by William Butler. When you are old and gray and fall asleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read. And dream of the soft look your eyes had once, and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with love, false or true? But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of changing your face. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love felled and paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars.
Thank you so much, Annabelle. As our runners are running around calibrating the scores, we're going to let a little business take care, and then we're going to bring up our first competitor. Everyone give a very warm welcome for our first competitor. This is Kaylee Milne reading No, I Wasn't Meant to Be Loved.
No, I wasn't meant to love and be loved by Mirza Asadullah Khan Gallup. No, I wasn't meant to love and be loved. If I lived longer, I would have waited longer. Knowing you are faithless keeps me alive and hungry. Knowing you faithful would kill me with joy. Delicate are you, and your vows are delicate too. So easily do they break. You are a laconic marksman. You leave me not dead, but perpetually dying. I want my friends to heal me, succor me. Instead, I get analysis. Conflagrations that would make stones drip blood are campfires compared to my anguish. Two-headed, inescapable anguish. Love's anguish? Or the anguish of time. Another dark, severing, incommunicable night. Death would be fine, if I only died once. I would have liked a solitary death, not this lavish funeral, this grave anyone can visit. You're mystical, Gallup, and also you speak beautifully. Are you a saint, or just drunk as usual?
Ways of Talking.
It's okay. Ways of Talking by Ha Jin. We used to like talking about grief. Our journals and letters were packed with losses, complaints, and sorrows. Even if there was no grief, we wouldn't stop lamenting, as though longing for the charm of a distressed face. Then, we couldn't help expressing grief. So many things descended without warning. Labor wasted, loves lost, houses gone, marriages broken, friends estranged, ambitions worn away by immediate needs. Words lined up in our throats for a good whining. Grief seemed like an endless river, the only immortal flow of life. After losing a land, then giving up a tongue, we stopped talking of grief. Smiles began to brighten our faces. We laugh a lot at our own mess, and things become beautiful, even hailstones in the strawberry fields.
Clap a little bit more for the music. You guys are awesome. Next up is Ayana Valeris with Late Summer.
Late Summer by Jennifer Gross. Before the moths have even appeared to orbit around them, the street lamps come on, a long row of them glowing uselessly, where they circle the ring of garden that circles the city center, where your steps count down the dawning of daylight. At your feet, a bee crawls in small circles like a toy unwinding. Summer specializes in time, slows it down to almost a dream, and the noisy day goes so quiet you can hear the bedraggled man who visits each trash receptacle mutter in disbelief, everything in the world is being thrown away. Summer lingers, but it's about ending. It's about how things redden and ripen and burst and come down. It's when city workers cut down trees, demolishing one limb at a time, spilling the crumbs of twigs and leaves all over the tablecloth of street. Sunglasses, the man softly exclaims, while beside him looms a large gray rows of pigeons huddled around a dropped piece of bread.
next up, we're gonna have Benji Sullivan with The Legend.
This is a legend by Garrett Honko. In Chicago, snow falls softly. A man has just done his wash for the week. He steps into the twilight of the early evening carrying a wrinkled shopping bag full of neatly folded clothes, and for once enjoys the feel of warm laundry and crinkled paper flannel-like against his gloveless hands. There's a Rembrandt glow on his face, a triangle of orange in the hollow of his cheek as the last flash of sunset blazes the storefronts and lit windows of the street. He's Asian, Thai, or Vietnamese, and very skinny, dressed as one of the poor, in rumpled suit pants and a plaid mackinaw, dingy and too large. He negotiates the slick of ice on the sidewalk by his car, opens the Fairlane's back door, leans to place the laundry in, and turns, for an instant, towards the flurry of footsteps and cries of pedestrians as a boy, that's all he was, steps from the corner store firing a pistol, shooting it, once at the dumbfounded man who falls forward grabbing at his chest. A few noises escape from his mouth, sounds no one can understand, as people surround him, bewildered at his speech. The boy has gone, lost in the light array of foot traffic, dabbling through the snow with fresh prints. Tonight, I read about Descartes' grand courage to doubt everything except his own miraculous existence, and I feel so distant from the wounded man lying on the concrete. I'm ashamed. Let the night sky cover him as he dies. Let the weaver girl cross the bridge of heaven and take up his cold hands.
Please join me in welcoming Amy DeRochers reading Seguro.
Saguaro by Brenda Hillman. Often visitors there, saddened by lack of trees, go out to a promontory. Then, backed by the banded sunset, the trail of the conquistadors. The father puts on the camera, the leather albatross, and has the children imitate saguaros. One at a time, they stand there smiling, fingers up like the tines of a fork, while the stately saguaro goes on being entered by wrens, diseases, and sunlight. The mother sits on a rock, her arms folded across her breasts. To her, the cactus looks scared. its needles like hair in cartoons. With its arms in preacher or waltz position, it gives the impression of great effort in every direction, like the mother. Thousands of cacti cross the valley, nature repeating itself, children repeating nature, father repeating children, and mother watching. Later, the children think the cactus was moral and had something to teach them, a survival skill or just mere beauty. But what else could it do? The only protection from death was to love solitude.
Next up, we have Annabelle Chislett reading Misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding by Ha Jin. So let your misunderstanding spread. It only shows how different you are from others. Many things cannot bear explaining. You'd better let silence and labor speak in your defense. You don't need many friends or to be enamored with beautiful women or share the wine of happy gatherings, because you have solitude enough, content to leave this world without a sound. Distant thunder can give you pure joy, birds in the sky can teach you another kind of wisdom, and as your soul is growing new wings, such words will disappear from your dictionary. Boundary, content, complaint, and cowardice.
I think you guys can see why this is one of my favorite days of the year. Next up, we're going to welcome Holly Keenan with April Midnight.
April Midnight by Arthur Simmons. Side by side through the streets at midnight, roaming together through the tumultuous night of London in the miraculous April weather. Roaming together under the gaslight, day's work over. How the spring calls to us here in the city, calls to the heart from the heart of a lover, Cool the wind blows, fresh in our faces, cleansing, entrancing, after the heat and the fumes and the footlights, where you dance and I watch you dancing. Good it is to be here together, good to be roaming, even in London, even at midnight, lover-like in a lover's gloaming, you the dancer and I the dreamer, children together, wandering lost in the night of London in the miraculous April weather.
Next up, we'll have Reese Currington reading Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Eve.
Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. You will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there's been some mistake. The only other sound's the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. These woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
please welcome Gianna Cruz, reading ninth grade.
Hear me. Sometimes thunder is just thunder. The dog barking is only a dog. The leaves fall from the trees because the days are getting shorter, by which I mean not the days we have left, but the actual length of time, given the tilt of Earth and distance from the sun. My nephew used to see a therapist who mentioned that. At play, he sank a toy ship and tried to save the captain. Not, he said, that we want to read anything into that. Who can read the world? It's paragraphs of cloud and alphabets of dust. Just now, a night bird outside my window made a single plaintive cry that wafted up between the trees. Not, I'm sure that it was meant for me.
Next up is Michael Woodward with In Flanders Field.
In Flanders Fields by John McCrae. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep. No poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Please welcome our final competitor to the stage, Anna Liana. She reads Invisible Children.
Invisible Children by Mariana Lanos. Invisible children fall through the cracks of the system, like Alice in the rabbit hole. But these children won't find and eat me cake or drink me bottle. They won't wake up on the lap of a loving sister. They'll open their eyes on the hand of a monster called negligence, who'll poke them with its sharp teeth and bait them with its heartless laughter, like a wild thing in a wild rumpus. But the children won't awake to the smell of a warm supper, nor will they find a purple crayon to draw an escape door or window. Instead, they'll make a mirror of a murky puddle on a city street, which won't tell them they're beautiful, but will show their scars as invisible to others as these children are.
Okay, I found it, figured it out, sorry.
I think it's no hyperbole to say that there's a lot of talent in the room. And I hope that you guys have all enjoyed seeing just the wealth that you have here in your community. Give everyone a hand. While we are waiting for the announcement of the winners and the scores, I want to give one big thanks to all of our judges, Jim Weber, Tim Herbert, Nick Ellis, Bill Priebus, Heidi Krumrine, Liz O'Neill, and Diane Watson. Give them a hand. Also, thanks to help from Mrs. O'Brien, the CHS Music and Theater Departments, our custodial staff, Concord TV, our student musicians and runners. A big shout out to Gibson Bookstore, the Common Man, Red River Theaters for their generous donation of prizes for our winner and our runner-up, and for all the participants. Well, after a thought out, I don't know if that's the appropriate analogy, but second place is Michael Woodward. And our champion will be going on to Plymouth State College next Thursday, March 13th. Let's wish Anna Leon. Can we get a big round of applause for everybody? Take it back.